Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Capes and Lunatics. It's me, Phil. Tyler is with me this time.
Hello, everybody.
And we are here to talk to returning guest. I did talk to this gentleman last year. I think we just talked in December when the first book came out. Mr. John Jackson Miller, who has his
my card.
Oh, nice.
I actually got that from a fan in Greece, of all places.
Wow.
That was a convention earlier this year. But,
That's awesome.
Definitely glad to be here.
But yes, talking the sequel to his his first book, which was kind of a sequel to a movie. Yes, this time we're talking Batman Revolution.
There we go.
Yes, and I swear, since this book came out, you've been testing the media literacy of the internet. I think.
Yes.
I see all kinds of articles. Oh, nice. Yes.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, I keep seeing articles that be like, oh, that Michael Keaton's Batman finally gets like a worthy sequel, and people are like, how are they doing this?
Oh gosh.
And it's just like
one of those sites keeps resharing their article with the questionable headline. It popped up again yesterday, and I'm like, well, first of all, it's 4 weeks after the book came out, but otherwise, it's like, yeah, it's a novel, folks. It's I can't speak for that one, but there are a lot of these sites that are more or less written by articles written by AI these days for some of these pieces. And there's nuance to this sort of thing, explaining exactly what it is we're doing, and the general public is not necessarily clued in. Oh, there are comics. Oh, there are also novels. Oh, there are also whatever. And if that confuses most people in general, you can imagine what a computer would think.
I just want to say, I think it's funny that they say that, but yet this is the sequel to the second book, which was still a sequel to.
You could say they're interquels if you want to. They take place in between the two.
No, I think that is genius. I love reading, period. But you can ask my wife and my kids, reading these two books, because I reread Resurrection, leading up to Revolution. Yeah. So I read them all within a month and a half span. And I was just like, they're so they just pull you in.
Yeah.
They captivate you. And I swear I have to ask you, did you sit down and watch both movies and make a list like, okay, I'm going to fix this plot hole, going to fix this plot hole, going to fix this plot hole?
No,
because your writing is so... It's just you're so beautiful of being able to connect. Why does he do this in Returns? How does he logically get there?
Well, here's the thing. I do a lecture series at conventions, various things, Star Wars, Star Trek shows, about writing in a shared universe. And I think like my 10th commandment is that we're not just there to connect the dots. We're not there to connect stories together. How stories connect is not a story, is actually what it is. And I'm not there to explain every, fill the plot holes or whatever. It just so happens that, there were opportunities all over the place in these two basic documents, which are these, what are we working with as canon here? It's 240 minutes of film, and plus the Pepsi commercial, or whatever it was. So, I go back to where I started with this. I was reviewing the movie for my college newspaper. I ended up doing a second review at the end of the summer for the welcome back issue. Students coming back, to campus because nobody was there in the summer, which is again why I was able to go see the movie 10 times, because I had nothing else to do. And by the time I wrote that second review, I had questions, and I listed, okay, what are these guys doing in the cathedral? What's this business about I was a kid when I killed your parents? What does that possibly mean? just various, why is he still doing this after, if the Joker is really the person who killed his parents, why is he still doing this? And so I figured, all right, let me thread these things together in a story. Actually, no, I didn't say that. The first place I put that after that review, I had a column in Comics Buyer's Guide in 1999. So we're talking the 10-year anniversary. And I write, I got a way to bring the Joker back. I write, here's a way to use the plot holes, the blown lines, and in fact, that's really pretty much what it is. They're continuity errors and blown lines is what it is. Or things cut together weird. And I'm like, well, I think you could probably, of course, nobody in comics is ever dead, unless you can see the body, and usually not even then. That was said by Len Wein, creator of Wolverine, who we actually had that on our wall at Comics Buyer's Guide, as Len Wein's law, and we would have had no problem at all, any of us, thinking about a way to resurrect any character. I think if you've been in comics, and this was my way. I've got a way to do something with the Joker. But of course, there was nothing to say for it, nothing to do about it, because we weren't going to bring any of those characters back. I didn't think anybody would ever bring those characters back. And then what kind of happens is you got Batman 66 comics happening about 15 years ago. And that begins to open the door a crack to maybe we might be able to license just one corner of the universe. And then, once Sam Hamm and Joe Quinones start doing their comics at DC, and, once Michael Keaton shows up as Batman in The Flash, everything pointed in the right direction. So it was the case that, when they approached me, I said, here, what I want to do, I want to put my stories in between the two films. And
genius.
And because there was some logic to it. They were already doing the comics set after Batman Returns, and I didn't want to step on what they were doing or get in the mess of their ongoing story as it's evolving. These things can change from script to page, and I didn't want to be in the middle of all of that. And then I'm thinking, well, what is the thing that most people have seen? What's the thing that the largest possible audience is aware of? It's that first movie. So I said, I'm going to hug the first movie. I'm going to hug the first movie. And if I'm going to do that, what would you guys say to letting me try out my resurrection plan? And again, back in the 90s, I was not envisioning a role for any of the other characters that actually appear in that resurrection novel. So that novel's got Clayface in it. It's got another villain that we don't talk about because we're saving the surprise. But
just thumbs up.
But there you go. But what happens is, once I start thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And I can work all these things into Bruce Wayne's tortured psyche, and I can have Alfred ask the question, "Why are you still doing this?" And dig into some other questions like, what's it like for all these other people in Gotham City now that he's around, and then we can go from there. So yeah,
I will say your books have enhanced my viewing of the films. So as I was reading your books, I couldn't wait to get back to watching the films.
Yeah.
And it has enhanced, because I did a whole deep dive back in what I was calling the Keaton universe. Cause I read both your novels. I read the 2 graphic novel collections, by Sam Hamm, and then watched the films. And it was just an immersive experience. And I really enjoyed your books.
I appreciate it. I mentioned, I didn't have to go back and really rewatch. There were a scene here and there that I would have to rewatch. Lawrence, I had to make sure Lawrence was alive. I figured, okay, yeah, we don't see the body. He doesn't go screaming down a hole in the cathedral like the poor boxer does. He can walk back from that. For the second book, I was freeze framing things like the files that Bruce Wayne had on his parents, the Gotham Globe from the time, and again, I was just handling that stuff like that. These are kind of fun Easter eggish kind of things. But if I'm gonna have the headline from the Gotham Globe when Bruce Wayne, his parents were murdered, I want the exact headline. So those were the reasons that I would go back and watch it. And again, just in the last year, I've seen the first movie twice. Once I watch it as a rewatch with Carl Newman, who is the Batman's movement double in the film. Did that for something on YouTube, and then I also got to go see Batman in concert in Milwaukee, and that was actually the day that I got my copy of the new book, and that was a great place to actually debut the look of the book, because I had not even seen the back cover. I didn't realize that.
I love that back cover.
I didn't realize that I drew the back cover. So,
really?
Well, that's not my question mark. That was the question mark was one of their possible things to maybe do on the cover, until we came to our senses and realized this is the most successful advertising image in movie history. We're not going to go away from that. But once we had a slogan from the Riddler, and I happened to have a green paint pen that I've been using for my posters, I just went ahead and said, well, just let me just scrawl this out. And I scanned it in and sent it in, and they were like, yeah, we're here for it. And so nice. I don't get an art credit, but that's all right. That's I also designed the puzzles in the second book too. I designed the main puzzle. I didn't do the chapter puzzles, although they were my idea. The section title puzzles. That was Tom Holler, the editor, who designed the word searches.
I was going to say, you know what would have been great? Maybe just like a little link or something in the book to be like, here, you can go to this website, download the puzzle, so you don't have to mark up your book.
Well, we figured that people can photograph it or photocopy it or whatever, or buy another book. Well, if we had infinite time, we could have done a lot more. And there's a point at which you don't want to get too gimmicky with it.
Yeah.
But the idea of the puzzle in the second book was I wanted to actually have an example of what our Riddler character was designing for the newspaper. I wanted this particular one puzzle that's at the very front of the book, and we have the answers in the back. The one puzzle at the very front of the book. We hear about that puzzle from Alfred, who is working it, Bruce, who later works the puzzle, Selena Kyle it makes a reference to it at some point, and the whole idea was this thing is the equivalent of a one of these Wordle crazes like we have now. Back in the 80s, what did we have? We had Trivial Pursuit, the board game that was a craze. What else did we have in the late 80s? People were you'd have contests which you'd call 1-900 numbers. And one of the things about the 1-900 numbers was every call cost like 75 cents or whatever it was, of which the phone company took its piece, and then you took your piece. And I'm like, okay, I can actually do something with the technology of the age, and with the newspapers that what they would have been doing back then, or could have been doing back then. And so I always try to remain true to what was going on in that, sort of weird muddled time frame that we get in these pictures. It's a combination of 1939 and 1989. There's never any technology or references after 1992 when the second film comes out. And so yeah, and I'm real careful about that. I mean, I will eventually get my notes on my website about these books. But I mean, I was just really seriously, there's talk of a lung transplant in one of these books, and the first one is like 83. So again, everything like that, I'm kind of going, all right, that fits into our little corner here somewhere.
This book is great. I tell you, me and Tyler were texting every couple of days saying, "Oh, where are you at? I'm on this chapter. Where am I at?" Because I couldn't put it down. Because even the days where I really didn't have any time,
it was so bad, Phil. Okay, it was so bad. Listen, I bought it digitally just because it was easier for me to. We were at Kings Island in line for rides, and my son's sitting there next to me. And I have my phone up and I'm reading because I'm like, I don't want to stop because I want to finish this. So we're in a 45-minute ride for a roller coaster. I'm like, what you doing? Reading this book.
We released the book at New York Comic-Con in advance of the second book, and on a Thursday, and somebody came back to me on a Friday. I've read it. I'm like
over 500 pages.
It's 550 pages long, and he's like, yeah, there are a lot of lines here. I don't know if you've noticed that.
See, he had my idea.
Well, he's got the physical. He's got the physical book, but he wasn't going on roller coaster, so he wasn't going to lose the book.
Yeah. No, but, I told everyone on our show. I said, okay, take this as the compliment it is. I said, this story. I said, again, sometimes you get a good Riddler story. Sometimes some. I'm like, this story made me give a shit about the Riddler. That's how good.
Well, it's in a sense, it's about a brand new character. I mean,
true.
We're using the trappings of the Riddler. I'm careful in there to insert quite a number of, riddle me this kind of jokes and things like that. I really did not want to do something where, he's a very hard character to write, because if you want to remain true to the whole thing back in the in the 40s when he comes out in the first comics he appears in, you're doing this thing of okay, I'm giving Batman the clues to catch me. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm giving Batman the clues that are going to lead him into a trap. And again, why would the Bruce Wayne, who has been shown in this movie to be a very smart guy, why would he fall for that? And so you have to go at it some other way, sideways. I mean, I think they do it's not a book or it's not a movie that I talk about very much because I haven't seen it as often. But I think the Batman really tries to cope with it. Really tries to come up with a way to make this character's modus operandi make sense and make it be thrilling and make it be other things. And again, I didn't want to copy that. So I figured, well, what I'll do is I'll use as my jumping off point a much older comic book and a much older concept. Back in '84, I think Mike Barr did a Batman special where the story was the player on the other side, and that story you imagined that there was another billionaire genius in Gotham City who would dress up in the cape and I can't remember even what his name was, but basically it was a one shot kind of a deal. What if there was somebody out there, an opposite number to Batman, Whereas everybody else, of course, in his rogues gallery is somebody who does something wildly different from what he does.
Oh, was it the Wraith? Was that the one with the Wraith or whatever?
That might have been it. I
Yeah.
can't remember, but it was a brown costume as opposed to
I think so. Yeah, because it wasn't that guy's parents killed by cops or something. They were like criminals.
The idea was it was the inverse Batman or something like that. And that was all very much a stretch because you didn't ever see that character in 50 years of comics up to that point. Well, I don't have that to worry about. I've got 2 hours of movie behind me and my novel and my first novel. So if I want to, I could say, all right, well, there's been somebody in Gotham City that has been helping the cops on again the tip line. That was a thing in the 80s. That was a call or answering machine, and
you even dropped little hints like it towards the end of the first novel. Yeah.
I very much appreciated the code name he was using while on the tip line. I thought that was great.
I mean, I plucked a couple of names during this whole project from the 66 TV show, which again, was not something that I was a particular fan of, but it's at least in that time frame that we're okay with. I was on a panel in Minneapolis, Twin Cities Con, a week and a half ago, with Paul Dini, and first time we met. Great guy, a great creator, and it's something where I look at, Harley Quinn. Would I have included Harley Quinn in my comics, or not comics, in my novels? Probably not, because she's outside that window.
Thank you. That was going to be my question to you.
I would probably not include Bane. Likewise, outside that window.
That was going to be my question to you. Were you ever tempted to use characters that didn't fit, that weren't around when Burton made his films?
No, and they're doing it in the comics. That's totally up to them. And I'm not going to tell Sam Hamm, don't use all the toys in the toy box, especially since, if you think about it, they're setting their stories as long as we're playing this game of our window is 1939 to 1992. Well, they're setting their stories a couple of years after. So you can imagine that pulls those people in. I don't know. Again, this is just the sort of things fans think about. But no, I mean, my preference always was to lean towards the golden age as much as possible. Lean towards the earliest versions of things as much as possible. That's absolutely what we did with Clayface. But again, what we did with him, likewise with this Riddler, we turned it on its head. I more or less broke up Basil Karlo into two characters. The Karlo that would have appeared in the very, very, very beginning, and so likewise, I've heard people say, well, you actually you fuse these two different TV show characters into this one character in the new book. Well, maybe not, but again, it all still is in that time frame that fits, and so nothing feels like it's anachronistic to a 1989/1992 experience.
My question is, when you were crafting this version of the Riddler, in the back of your mind, were you ever picturing like Robin Williams?
I always say any fan casting is valid. Do I have people whose voices I hear? I've had novels where I had no idea what I wanted people to look like, where I've actually gone out and gone online and gotten images of this person, this character, that character, this character, that character. I've said Oren Galt from my Kenobi novel yeah, I mentally was picturing Sam Neill.
Okay. I just bought Kenobi, and I'm just
picture Sam Neill, and there you go. But I mean, and it's not necessarily that all these people are particularly famous. For the woman that runs the general store in Kenobi, I was imagining the woman we meet at the very end of Castaway, who's the redhead in the crossroads, and again, that only means something to me while I'm actually picturing it, but it's really got to be up to the fan to hear who they want to hear. That's also the approach in our audiobooks. We're not Will Dameron, who's doing a great job on these books. He's not trying to do a Jack Nicholson. He's not trying to do a Christopher Walken, because if that's what he was doing, that's all people would be judging him by.
Yeah.
And so that does not put us under the gun to say, okay, well, now we need to make this character sound like this character or whatever else. In the comics, they depict folks as they want to depict them, and that's their thing. But yeah, I mean, look, if you want to talk about Williams, certainly he would have been capable of playing this character, because
it's that whole thing about he was talked about, rumored to be the Riddler at one point.
Well,
and all that.
Again, this is not, and this leans towards those clickbaity headline kind of things. Never was approached with that thought. It was never approached with. This has never been the what if is simply what if we could have told stories in between the two. It was not, can we fix history or anything like that. We have a character here who is both meek and also outgoing. And
I like the character. I thought it was a great way of. It felt like
he's got multiple voices.
A Riddler, like you said, the Batman, right?
Yeah.
It felt like that kind of a Riddler mixed with like the Frank Gorshin. Like I could see it being both versions as one person without it being untrue.
So I mean, I could visualize. I can visualize a lot of possible castings working, but again, it's a book.
Well, I mean, if nothing else, did you picture the Riddler as like kind of the opposite of yourself? Just because I know at the end you did go into like how your mother was like a librarian, but she encouraged you. I
think not really necessarily at all. Well, it is true. I went from being introvert to extrovert while doing this job, because you can't survive nearly as long doing these talks if you have nothing to say or not able to fill an hour happily. But no, I mean, I've tried to say there's not a lot in his growing up that is identical to mine. I got a lot of support that he didn't. And again, we wonder, what Batman's life would have been like without Alfred. And that is really one of the questions that comes up in this book. It's about the guidance that people have, the mentors that they have, whether they have the support that they need, when they need it.
Just the opportunities. Like Bruce Wayne was born into money. Meanwhile,
oh yeah. Although yet again, as we've seen with some other characters, just having the money doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. You know what? That is a good segue, because I was going to say, I think the other great thing about these books, especially this one, like you really flesh out characters who in the movies really didn't get as much screen time as they should have, like Commissioner Gordon, Alexander Knox, and this one.
See, if you can picture that first movie with 20 minutes of 20 minutes of Max Schreck on the cutting room floor that we did. Well, we kind of did we kind of did fix the past in that regard.
Can you imagine Max Schreck at Casino Night at Wayne Manor in that first movie? Oh,
so it is, it is. So that is one of the major themes of this book is the guidance that people provide, and then also, certainly the issue of masters and servants, as we see with Batman and Alfred. That's a major Bruce and Alfred. That's a major thing going through this, through all the stories. Their relationship is the one enduring relationship through the two films, and you would imagine it would be so through the books as well.
Did you ever feel any pressure when finishing this book to make sure that you had all your characters where they need to be for Batman Returns?
It was, the Batman Returns was not the problem. The problem was, and it really wasn't a problem. The box I had to check was right up until the end. I was like, I need to get that last issue of Echoes, the last issue of the second Batman series, because I had the outline, I had the scripts. I had talked with everybody up there. I talked with Joe Quinones, but you still got to see the final page, because I was making changes in my Star Wars comics on the final page all the time, and the word balloons, that sort of thing. So I actually knew how my book interfaced with Echoes right when I began it, right at the very beginning. And again, part of it, that book took a while to come out, so I had,
yes, it did.
I had that material there, but things do evolve as the book goes along, and as elements get dropped or added, when you actually get to the page.
Thank you for caring about that, because there are writers who would be like,
yes,
you know what, I don't care what they're doing in those comics.
I don't mind. I think it's part of the fun.
It gives the experience, because now I can watch the movie, your novels, Returns, and then I have these two comics, and I have a grand story. Like, I was so excited in your first book when it mentions Winston.
Yeah.
Just watching TV, and I was like, oh.
And the thing is, if you want to, you can ignore them.
Yeah.
If you want to, you don't have to care that there are comics. It works either way. If you can read the comics and not have to read these books.
But you don't.
My deal is, let's make everything fit, and let's make everything fit. But that's what I do. Even if things don't, look, I wrote the first Star Wars novel that is in the Lucasfilm Story Group era, where everything previous to that became Legends. Right away, I was putting elements from Legends in, and putting things in my Star Wars novel last year. There are all these references where you're going, well, that's all connected to Knight Errant, which was the series that I did, where the trade paperback just came out, and the Marvel Omnibus came out a week ago with my comics for it. And again, you don't have to have read any of that other stuff, but if you want to consider it all part of the same thing, it still works. I was writing the first novel featuring the Anson Mount version of Captain Pike in Star Trek. Nice. So Star Trek Discovery Enterprise War was the book, and this takes place in between where we see Captain Pike in the cage and where we see him at the end of the first season of Discovery. And I realized, well, okay, we don't know who the engineer is on the Enterprise at this point. And they said, well, you can create somebody. And I did. And I gave this an entire character. But I also made reference to the fact that there had been this revolving door at this position all these previous years. And I name checked every single engineer that had appeared in all of the Marvel Paramount comics that came out in 97, 96, 97. I mentioned characters that appeared in the little novels, various other things. And again, it's a one-off line.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does is it makes that one person or 5 people or 10 people or whatever feel seen. And and I don't consider that fan service if it's something that nobody else notices.
You'll probably say a writer doesn't need this, but would you say like maybe like a good writer pays attention to some of those details, like when you're working in a media where there's other forms?
No, because it's entirely possible to do something completely divorced from everything else and not have to go back and not have to go back and name check or Easter egg a bunch of stuff. I do it just because it's fun, and I do it because I spent a lot of time reading this stuff in the past. It validates what I knew, and you know but it is by no means, as I say, we're not here just to show you everything you've ever seen. We're usually trying to show you something you haven't seen before. But again, if it's something that I don't mind doing, that's and that this also goes for the deep cut out of universe in jokes that I've got. I have at one point in the second book, Max Schreck uses the phrase "shame on you." Well, that's a line that he says in the second movie, and it's like, well, that sounds like Max Schreck. But at some point, he's referring to the Riddler's jokes, and he refers to them as crack-em-ups. And well, he doesn't say that in any movie, but Christopher Walken says that in one of his intro monologues in one of the episodes of Saturday Night Live, and it's the only place I've ever heard that word, and I can only hear it in Christopher Walken's voice, and I'm like, okay, what's happened now is the 5 people out there who remember that hosting gig and have heard that thing are gonna hear Walken in their head at that point, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, you should.
That's awesome.
You should have just threw in. I need more cowbell.
Well, didn't do that. Didn't do that. Well, you can take this sort of thing too far. That is very, very light. That's very light. There are a few out of universe jokes in the movies. Because there are a few out of universe jokes in the movies, that sort of cracks the door that you can have a few. There are references to real life serial killers in Batman Returns. There are but you don't have anything that's just really ridiculously this joke is clearly a reference to the TV show or clearly a reference to something else. But I will say there are a lot of hidden jokes in my books.
And even just you're saying all these out of universe things. You go in the Revolutionary War fictional Revolutionary War history with Gotham City, which you're like, oh, here's this real life documentary. This takes this.
Well, and the thing is, I work to make sure I fit that continuity too. So I figured that this would be. I needed to find a way in the second book because I have people who have political ambitions. But the world of the movies is limited to Gotham City. We never ever leave Gotham City or the environs of the caves. We never go out of the county, basically. And so what I wanted to do is see, well, can I actually tie a major world-changing historical movement to Gotham City in such a way that the interpretation of its history is going to change the way people see themselves and people see that history. And so I went and looked, and I'm like, oh, well, this happened then. I know where I happen to think Gotham City is located geographically. and this might actually work, and then I did a little bit more research, and it worked out.
Oh yeah, there's been stories where like the Batcave's was used in like the Underground Railroad and stuff.
Oh yeah. But again, yeah, that's a trick. You gotta try to get some of the actual timeline details correct to make that to really sell that.
I wanted to share real quick one of my favorite lines from your book, and you'll understand while looking at me why this is one of my favorite lines in your book. It'd be a sorry newsroom indeed that could be fooled by a guy just wearing glasses. I loved it. I laughed.
Well, see, and that's one of those lines that's in a kind of a self-indulgent thing, but which has an out of universe nod, or not out of universe, but out of Gotham nod, or out of franchise nod, out of license nod, because we hadn't licensed the other part of the world. Yeah, I'm really happy with the chance these books gave us to explore a few different workplaces. The Gotham Globe, I think, should feel like a real place now, or an expanded place. Shrek's department store, we know a lot more about what it's like to work there.
I love that you had Fred. I love that Fred was there.
We have the first book gave us all about Gotham City's theater district. We learned about the hospitals. We learned about the Hall of Justice and setting scenes that would go these places. And so yeah, I think I used pretty much every opportunity that I could, picking up every little thread that was around.
Carl Grissom's his accountant.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
Well, where'd he go? He's not killed on the steps.
Oh my God! That scene when Batman finds him, I just saw a comic book in my head, just Batman stepping out.
This is the trick.
Okay.
So,
another question I had with going back to what you're talking about with Echoes, one of the biggest questions I saw from some of the fans pop up in this book was there any I guess confusion on your Norman character versus Sam Hain's
well, that's
Edward Nigel Maynard? Like, were you like, oh, you created this guy? Okay, I got to make sure I mention this character in my book just to help in that continuity, or
I knew that character. Once I knew that character was appearing, I would say that we probably came first with what we were planning because we're way back earlier in the process here. Because the Riddler was right from the top of this project. He was always going to be book 2, but I was already working on how to deal with allowing Sam to do what Sam was going to do.
I think it works brilliantly.
Yeah, and it seemed logical and other elements like that. I think worked out. There's not a lot that I can't think a way around. and if I could actually make it actually serve the story and show that this person's so popular he's getting followers, that works for me too.
And would you say who's the main antagonist of this book? It's not your Riddler, it's not the mystery villain. There's some original characters, like I don't know how deep you want to go into, but a certain young lady. Is she?
That gets tricky. Because I don't want to go too far into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say there are people here who are fanning the flames of the bad feeling, the bad experience that many people in Gotham City have had living there. What do we know from the first book, or not first book, from the first movie? We know that Gotham City is bankrupt. We know that the police are bad enough at their jobs that Batman must exist. We know that there is a major difference between the very rich and the very poor. We with in terms of the soaring heights of the city, and then what's going on the ground level. We know we have a government that is designing nerve gas and just leaving it around. We know that there is a war in Corto Maltese. We don't know anything about it other than it exists and that it's terrible. We know that the people are so desperate for financial gain that they will go out and run into the street to go to a parade run by a lunatic who has already tried to poison the city just because he's going to drop $10 million on the crowd. And so there's a lot of stuff going on there. We also have political things happening in the second movie where they're recalling the mayor and they're about to elect a penguin. And you've got protesters and people bringing fresh produce to rallies and things like that.
What's this guy's credentials? He grew up in the sewer. Okay, let's make him mayor. Okay.
Well, I mean, and so there had to be. I mean, there's definitely discontent, and I'm like, okay, fine. Let's dig into a certain kind of character or a certain kind of thing that feels like it would fit into a Tim Burton movie. You got in the 1970s. You have a period where there's lots of bombings and assassinations, and there are a lot of fringe groups that have mottos and names and intentions that don't necessarily make a lot of sense, and often they're battling each other. And they are in their own way, like the street gangs that would battle each other, or the mob families that would battle each other. These people have got to be sharing Gotham City too, and so you do have this sort of fight that's going on over this city's promise, and whether that promise has been honestly kept or not. And this is something where I can have the Riddler walk into this situation, or a future Riddler walk into the situation, and we hit him with enough that he looks like the kind of hero that those people would consider a hero. The people that are they stop battling each other long enough to take him on and then battle Batman.
Oh yeah, everything is again the Revolutionary War stuff, and just the current state of Gotham, and it's just well, the political stuff. It's like this stuff never seems to go out of style, with discontent and
well, we thought about do we bring in the president or something like that? And we're like, no. The most we could do is the governor, because everybody knows that Gotham City is probably, it's one of these places where we have a gargantuan city with a big state attached. That is like here's the remote capital, and Gotham City is not itself the capital of the place, and whoever is running for governor is always running against Gotham City.
I have to ask, would you ever consider writing a book like in the Christopher Reeve Superman universe?
Anything is possible. Why that is probably less possible is just because we're getting more and more distance in the time frame from that material, and also there's an active Superman on screen now, and so I would think there might be some reluctance to create confusion there. I will say that the bigger issue is probably, we have in Batman a film and a character that has his audience is 10 years younger based on those movies, and they did do the Superman 78 comics. I don't know how well they did relative to the Batman 89 ones, and it's ironic for me to say that because I I still run Comicron, and for 25 years I was charting the sales charts every single month, but that all ended in 2021. So
as I was reading this, I was like, man, like your writing skills and the way you write in fandom and the different genres, I was like, if anyone were to write the book of like if Christopher Reeve's Superman got to meet Helen Slater's Supergirl, I was like, I think John's up for the chance.
It's as I say, anything's possible, but again, already right there, how many people in the reading audience have seen that movie? Okay,
smaller.
So it always, people are always asking me, well, what's your dream project to work on? Well, this one I never dreamt of because I never thought you could actually do just the Tim Burton Batman movies. But I would always be suggesting things like Max Headroom or something where it's a 40-year-old TV show that the fandom is probably me and 5 other people at this point.
Here's a tough question. Which universe do you prefer to write in? Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek or Star Wars? Okay,
yeah. Which one?
You didn't throw Batman in there, so that's.
I know. This is the star battle. Which one?
Gosh.
Which one do you prefer to
debate? It absolutely depends on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to do something where where science is a part of it, where world history is a part of it, where I can actually refer to world history, where I can actually refer to science. I can't do either of those things in Star Wars. I'm able to do that in Star Trek all the time. My Strange New Worlds novel, The High Country. I mean, it's a Western, or as my editor said, it's not a Western. She says it's a science fiction novel with horses in it. But I did a Western for Star Wars too. It was Kenobi, but it's not a Western in any sense of there's horses running around. There are saddles. I did have to get an equestrian advisor because we needed to actually know how the saddles on dewbacks worked, the big green lizards. But yeah, it just absolutely depends on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to do Star Wars, I can doing something that's a lot lighter and funnier. I can get away with it at novel length probably a lot easier than I can do Star Trek. My most recent Star Wars novel, The Living Force back there, it's the Jedi Council on spring break, basically. And the overall plot is so light it has to be kept under a paperweight so that it doesn't float off. But again, that humor is in the movies. There's a lot of it. There's humor in the Star Trek world too. It's just you don't often see it carried for an entire show unless you've got the Trouble with Tribbles or something like that.
All right, I have a 2-part question. First, would you ever be? It's been a while, I think, but would you ever be interested in even just for a limited time doing comics again, comic books?
Well, I've been doing them. I was doing a comics project that actually got shelved in the middle of all this. Never got announced. Previous to that, I did I think the last series I did the 40th anniversary series for Battlestar Galactica, and that was at Dynamite. And then they had me take on a series for a video game that was coming out called Skull and Bones, and then the video game didn't come out, and so the comics sat on the shelf for about a year, and then they came out in France before the game did, and then the game came out, and I think it's already gone. But the comics did come out. But I certainly I would do comics again. I'm talking with people all the time. The trick with comics and novels is they're hard to do at the same time, because those comic books are constantly coming back to you. The novel will come back to you just once, or rather, it'll come back to you several times, but it comes back to you all at once. Whereas you will be writing issue 5 and issue 4, the final lettered pages will be coming back to you. Issue 3, the pencil pages will be coming back to you. And issue 2, or I've got that backwards. But you know what I mean. I mean, it's a monthly series. You've got things at multiple stages that all have to have attention, and they're all crying out for it all the time.
Yeah, because I mean, just that. I know this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But your Iron Man run, I was hoping maybe sometime next year that maybe we can have you back and I can talk.
Yeah, it was the 20th anniversary of it last year. It is again, that was an interesting time. It was again literally the beginning of my career writing. Was the Crimson Dynamo, a series I did, which led to Iron Man, and those 19 issues is what it turned out to be. That got me Star Wars and everything else, and it was a very, very hectic time, and we were bi-weekly for half of that run.
Oh yeah,
we're bi-weekly for half of that run. And at one point, we were heading towards a big event that never happened. And then suddenly we're heading towards Avengers Disassembled, and I got to wrap things up. And but that was a case where again I look back at everything, because I had the whole series all the way back to Tales of Suspense 39. And I wanted to actually name check elements from all across that timeline.
Wow.
And I wanted to write the series as if it was Tales of Suspense 101. As if it was still the Tony Stark of the 60s to a degree.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, and I kind of really I said to myself, when am I going to get a chance to do this again? I might never get a chance to do this again. So I swung for the fences, and I said, I'm going to make him Secretary of Defense.
Yes.
And they're like, well, we just had Red Skull as Secretary of Defense. and I'm like, okay, then this shouldn't be a problem. But again, that's something that has had legs in various other things. I've had characters appear in movies and TV shows that came from those comics. And surreally, the whole thing has never been reprinted.
Really?
And the 2 issues that were Avengers Disassembled preludes got reprinted several times in those Avengers Disassembled hardcovers and trade paperbacks. 1 issue of that Avengers Disassembled 2-parter got reprinted back here on my shelf. The Many Lives of Carol Danvers, because Warbird happens to be in it.
Yeah,
it's one part of a 2-parter, and but the rest of it never reprinted. It's all that the way they've got the Epic collections going is they do them out of order, and 1 a year.
Yeah,
and
I thought by that point we were just reprinting everything from that era on.
Well, they did start a reprint run, starting with the Heroes Return era, and they got through. I think they got through Kurt Busiek's run, and they got through Mike Grell's run, which they skipped ahead for, and but everything in between not reprinted, and then me and the rest of Robin Laws also is in my stretch, also not reprinted. Get on the phone. Tell
Yeah.
Marvel.
But yeah, yes, if you have some time next year, yeah, I would love to talk that stuff with the.
Yeah, I'd have to. I need to. I was gonna say I need to reread part of it.
I need to reread it too.
But it gets brought up to me regularly. So and again, it is surreal how much stuff keeps coming back out of it.
And it kind of sets up like putting Tony in a place, going into Civil War too.
Oh well, yeah, I absolutely think that's the case. I think every moment in those first 3 movies where he's in front of Congress or something like that, we were not the first to put him there, but we know for a fact that John Favreau had those comics because that's where he hired Adi Granoff from.
Oh yeah,
and they got Christine Everhart, Leslie Bibb's character from those comics. They got one of the generals names came from the comics, and then of course, they must have circulated those books around because when they got around to Ant-Man and the Wasp, they used Sonny Birch from our comics as Walton Goggins' character. Doesn't look anything like him, but we don't care.
So there should have been a Senator Miller in there. Okay.
Because one of the characters is my mother. They drew my mother as one of the senators. So
oh, that's cool.
No, that's true. And of course, my mother is as I've noted is part of why I have a comics collection today.
Nice.
With the book that you completed, was there any character a villain that you would like to write that you didn't have the opportunity to?
Well, I mean, look, the Two-Face story was already told in the comics, and I like the chance to give Harvey Dent, actual screen time, doing things in our books before all that happens.
I appreciate that,
and I think what it does is, I think it is what all the movies have lacked. All the movies have lacked this. Harvey. We don't get him in. He's not in Batman Begins, is he? I don't think he is.
No, he's not.
So he shows up in Dark Knight as his character who becomes corrupted and etc.
This guy gets it.
And then likewise over in in the Schumacher movie again. We only know from flashback that he was a upstanding person. So they're at least getting closer to but that's gotta be I think part of the shock of the whole thing is we've got to spend some time establishing who he is, and they are able to do that in the comics, and I've sort of added on to that.
No, I'm a big Two-Face fan, and one of my things is like with the new Matt Reeves film coming out is I'd like to have Harvey Dent in the movie, but not Two-Face, for exactly what you just said. I want to spend time with Harvey. I want to get to know him so that when the tragedy does strike, we feel that it means something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it means something. The downside is we all know it's coming, and that's oh, there you go.
I got mine. It's in the other room.
We all know it's coming. So of course that's again an opportunity to subvert the expectation somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I think that's the funniest moment in this book where Harvey Dent, where he's like, "You're checking the baseball scores now."
Well, again, I was conscious of when it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was conscious of when it was, and
you can't just whip out your cell phone and be like, "Oh, what's this?"
No, one of the editors, one of the proofreaders, came back and said, "Wait, there's a baseball game Monday, and there's another one Tuesday and Wednesday with the same team." He's like, "Yeah, that's how they do it.
That's how baseball works." Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say it was someone young who was like, "Wait, a transistor radio? What is that?"
But actually, that is a line that came from a line came from my editor Tom Holler, because there's a mention where Bruce talks about a no-hitter going into the 6th, and my editor wrote in the liner notes, geez, Bruce, shut up. You'll jinx it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give that line to Harvey.
Oh, nice.
That's nice. I'm surprised Knox didn't talk more baseball with Robert Wool being such a big baseball fan.
Well, go look at one of his scenes related to baseball, and you'll see some Easter egg there.
Okay, I'll reach it. I plan on rereading the book soon because
you were reading it in line on your phone.
Spoiler alert, this is going to be a very prominent Christmas present this year for my friends.
Oh, wow.
That's been so. Phil, you already got your copy, so sorry, bro.
Well, buy all you want. We'll make more.
Oh yeah, I mean this is a more than a once read. I mean, like you said, it's over 500 pages. So
it's a great to read.
Eggs, yeah.
Sit, meditate on it, think, talk to your friend, who's read it, and then go back and read both of them back to back and just enjoy that experience.
I appreciate that. Well, we put a lot of time into these things, and it's refreshing to know that people are spending time with them and referring to them sometimes years later.
Oh yeah,
Tyler, should we let this man go? I'm sure he's in the
he's busy
writing a few things.
He's had a long day, 3 podcasts.
This is not his first podcast day, nor his second.
Well, I've got new furniture coming in, so all of this is coming down at the end of this podcast. And,
nice.
Because I got to have more shelving.
And like I was saying, I just bought Kenobi, and as soon as I finish Kenobi, I'm going to read. I can't remember the exact title, but your Sith book.
Lost Tribe of the Sith.
Yeah, so that one's going to be after Kenobi, and I'm really looking forward to those books there.
Oh, I want to get the Strange New Worlds, man. I love the Trek.
I think you'll enjoy that. There's my website. I've got all those books. That's farawaypress.com. Notes on there. Batman Revolution is available in hardcover, softcover, and ebook right now from Random House Worlds and all your favorite bookstores. Also, Batman, the first novel, Batman Resurrection, is out in both hardcover and trade paperback. If your store does not have the hardcover and you want both the hardcovers, ask them because it's still in print. They can get it. And then people can find me online, John Jackson Miller on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, farawaypress.com on Blue Sky, and JJM Faraway on Twitter.
All right. So thank you, sir, for your time. We thoroughly enjoyed this. I know we've been anxiously awaiting talking to you because we read the book. I'm like, I have to talk to him again. Tyler's like, I have to talk to him. So
yeah. There's like so much more. I was like, I want to dig into this, but I respect the whole not spoiling things for other people.
No, we're good. All right. Thanks very much.
All right, everyone, get the books. Yes. And yes, follow this man so you are up to date on his when he has new projects coming out. All right. John Jackson Miller, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.